People love to say wealth compounds. You invest, you save, you build. But for those with less, the costs compound too, just in the opposite direction. Every single money saving choice ends up costing you more. So when someone tells you, it's not about how much you make, it's about how you manage it, remember, they're leaving out the fact that managing life with less is like playing Monopoly with half the money and double the rent. And it's not just bad luck or poor choices. The system was built this way by design. There are systemic traps built into how our economy works, traps that punish people for having less. By the end, we'll talk about how we could actually fix the system, the kind of solutions that go beyond blaming people for buying a coffee. But first, let's break down just how expensive being broke really is. Let's start with the basics, health and food. Eating healthy isn't just about discipline, it's about price tags. Fresh produce, organic options, anything labeled better for you is priced like a luxury item. Meanwhile, the cheapest food is often the stuff that guarantees health problems down the road. And when you can't afford medicine, regular dental care, or therapy, small issues snowball into bigger, more expensive ones. So much for just budget better. Sometimes the budget doesn't break. It's broken to begin with. Now let's talk about housing. The cheapest apartments, they come with cracked windows, no insulation, and a built-in feature called sky-high heating bills. Add in leaks, pests, mold, and congratulations. You're not just paying rent, you're paying for health risks. And if your building doesn't have a washer or dryer, that's an ongoing laundromat fee every single week. Miss a bill by a few days? Boom, late fees. For the wealthy, late fees are something you read about. For the poor, they're a monthly line item. Transportation is another one. If you can't afford a reliable new car, you end up with a used one that's constantly breaking down, which costs you more in repairs than a car payment would have. Insurance companies make it worse. Lower income neighborhoods and lower credit scores mean higher premiums, even if you're a careful driver. Add prepaid phone plans and pay-as-you-go internet, which costs more than bundled family deals. And when your laptop or phone is the cheapest model you could afford, it's slower, breaks or becomes obsolete faster, and eventually forces you to buy again. Poverty turns every purchase into a short-term lease. Even when it comes to the future, the gap widens. Wealthier people max out retirement accounts and enjoy tax advantages. Poorer families live paycheck to paycheck with no surplus to save, and no compound growth working in their favor. Even in clothing, the wealthy buy durable coats or shoes that last years. Lower income families buy fast fashion that falls apart quickly, forcing constant replacement. It's the same story. Cheap isn't cheap. It's recurring debt disguised as affordability. And while people at the bottom are nickel and dimed, banks are raking it in. Take loyalty programs like free flights from credit cards. Who funds those points? Not the banks. It's the overdraft, late fees, and interest charges to the people who can least afford them. So, yes, people with less are literally paying for the rich to fly for free. And it's working. The Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce just reported quarterly profits in the billions. That's not because they managed better. It's because the system funnels wealth upward, one overdraft fee at a time. This is just one example, and it's a pattern repeated by nearly every major bank. So while the poor are paying fees, buying broken appliances, and living in substandard housing, the rich are compounding wealth off the very same system. And that's the point. This isn't about discipline or smart choices. It's about a system designed to reward the already wealthy while punishing those who can least afford it. But what if we flipped that script? What if the same rules that compound wealth for the rich could actually work for the rest of us? Solutions and hope, rewriting the rules. Here's what it's just discipline people don't get. Poverty isn't a moral failure, it's a design flaw. And design flaws can be fixed. So let's talk about what flipping the script could actually look like. Fair pricing for essentials. Right now, wealthier people get rewarded for buying in bulk, while the poor pay more per unit for the basics. Costco memberships, airline rewards, even utility discounts. They're gated behind wealth. That's where a progressive consumption tax comes in. The more you spend on luxuries, the higher your tax rate. So a billionaire dropping $500,000 on a yacht pays way more back into the system than a family scraping by on groceries. The idea? Tax consumables based on necessity. The less essential and more luxurious an item, the higher the tax. And in exchange, essential items, food, diapers, heating, would carry little to no tax. Imagine a tax system that hits luxury, not survival. Finally, the math isn't rigged for the rich. Banking without punishment. Banks love to talk about financial literacy, but then slap you with a $45 overdraft fee for being broke. That's not literacy. That's extraction. We could replace this with fee-free basic accounts and caps on payday loan interest. Think, no more losing $200 in fees because your rent hit before your paycheck cleared. Some countries already ban predatory lending. It's not radical, it's fair. Imagine a bank that doesn't make billions by punishing you for having the wrong account balance. Housing that doesn't drain you. If you're poor, your rent's often higher and your bills are bigger. Because your apartment leaks heat, the insulation is garbage, and the landlord doesn't care. Welcome to housing as a business. Now just a profit machine, like everything else. Meanwhile, wealthier families save money and live in dignity with efficient homes. Solutions look like housing vouchers tied to quality standards and retrofit programs for low-income households. That means lower heating bills, safer living spaces, and less money bled away just for keeping the lights on. This allows people with limited options to live in decent, safe housing, not forced into substandard conditions out of necessity. Imagine your winter bill not being triple just because your windows rattle in the wind. Healthcare and mental health access. Skipping the dentist or therapy isn't budgeting, it's gambling with your future. But that's the so-called choice life hands to people with less. Expanding universal dental and mental health coverage would cut costs for everyone long-term. It's cheaper to prevent problems than treat emergencies. And it means fewer people losing jobs or homes over something treatable. Imagine not having to choose between a cavity filling or keeping your phone on, leveling retirement and savings. The wealthy get tax breaks to build generational wealth. Lower-income households get nothing but bills. And when you're paycheck to paycheck, just invest is the world's cruelest joke. That's where matched savings programs come in. For every $50 you manage to save, the system matches it. Or even bigger ideas like universal basic income, which provides a steady floor so people can plan instead of constantly firefighting. Imagine not every flat tire or missed shift being a financial catastrophe. And here's the kicker. The system isn't broken by accident. Politicians, corporate lobbying, and concentrated wealth have shaped it this way. Right now, the ultra-rich at the very top hold a disproportionate amount of power across the globe, whether it's the US, Canada, UK, or Australia, and no major party has done enough to address it. Meanwhile, the rest of us are divided, left versus right, red versus blue, men versus women, whatever it is. While we all actually want the same things, a decent life, dignity, opportunities, and a system where having less doesn't compound every small struggle. If we want policies like housing vouchers, fair banking, a strong universal health care, and progressive consumption taxes to actually happen, we can't just hope the existing parties will do it. We need to start demanding these platforms from our politicians and build a movement, or even a political platform, that prioritizes the majority over the wealthiest few. We can't keep fighting left versus right while the richest few laugh, stacking more wealth on top of us. And yes, that includes wealth-focused tax reform, a wealth tax on billionaires, capital gains adjustments, closing loopholes, all of which could fund these programs while reducing the extreme gap that drives the compounding problems we just went over. The goal isn't punishment, it's balance, a system that actually works for most of us, not just the top 1%. So here's the reality. Wealth compounds. Struggle compounds. Right now, the math is rigged. But we can change it. We can build a system where managing money isn't a test of survival instincts. It's actually possible to get ahead. The rules don't have to punish the people who can least afford it. They can reward stability, fairness, and opportunity. But It won't happen on its own. We need awareness, action, and a push for real policy change. So here's my question to you. If you care about a fairer system, what changes do you think could actually make life less punishing for the majority of people? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to help spread awareness, subscribe and share this video. Because this isn't just about who's struggling today, it's about making a system that doesn't make life harder for anyone tomorrow.